Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to get comfortable, seated on a towel or a cushion or a block, something that can help you elongate your spine and the back of your neck, sitting up nice and straight and tall, opening up your chest and diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale, and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat, and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention is to celebrate the National Yoga Awareness Month, and we're concluding that. Today's the 30th of September, so it's our last one of the celebration. And we're going to do that by celebrating Yin Yoga. Yin Yoga is inspired by ancient Chinese Taoist practice and the concept of Yin and Yang. Yin and Yang is opposite and complementary principles in nature. Yin is the stable, unmoving aspect of things. Yang is the changing, moving aspect. So in the body, the relatively stiff connective tissues, such as tendons, ligaments, and fascia, are yin, while the mobile and pliable muscles are yang. Yin Yoga works on the connective tissues, which respond best to a slow, steady load. If you gently stretch, or they often use the term stress, connective tissue by holding a yin pose, the body will respond by making them a little longer and stronger. It's recommended, though, to do both the yin and yang yoga for balanced practice. And the yang yogas, which we are exploring this month, include the Ashtanga, the Iyengar, Kundalini, or your traditional Vinyasa or Hatha style practice. Those are the yang practices that work on your muscles. And so the yin is different in that it works on your connective tissues. And some of the poses that you'll be doing are similar to what we do when we're doing a yang style practice, but they have a different name to them. Like cobra is called swan, and it just brings the person into the awareness that the intent of the pose is a little bit different, and maybe the cues to the pose is a little bit different. So it's not, you know, the swan and cobra aren't the same. So there are 4 principles. I often say there's 3, but I found a 4th principle when practicing Yin Yoga. The first one is to find your edge. So compassionately lean into the pose, and I'm going to underscore compassionately. Find that sweet spot between effort and relaxation, and let your intuition be your guide, be your teacher. And that should be pulled true for any yoga that you do. Number 2 is stillness. Consciously try to release into the pose and to remain still. That one probably is the hardest to do, whether your mind's going a mile a minute or you're just not used to that inactivity for that period of time. That one could be the biggest challenge. And then hold that pose. It is the long, gentle pressure that coaxes the tissues into being strengthened. And in Yin Yoga, poses are held from 1 to 3 minutes. Tough ones like camel, which is called camel, is held in that shorter time frame. There are other poses that are 5 minutes and longer. We're going to do 2 minutes per side of poses. Some poses don't have 2 sides, so we'll do just 2 minutes. So 2 minutes will be our goal on these poses. And then the 4th principle is to come out of the pose slowly and gently. And that one I didn't have before, but that it's kind of obvious, but I think it needs to be said. So let's start. Hopefully I won't need my glasses for when I read. So also to help you today, while you're holding the pose, I've chosen affirmations that were specific for this fall, autumn season. So I invite you to let those affirmations just settle in with you and help you to be still. Something to think about to still your active mind. And props are also encouraged. Yin can sometimes feel like restorative yoga, where you're being propped up by restorative yogas, you're being propped up by the props. This is just to support the pose. You'll see later on there'll be times where, just so that you're comfortable in supporting the pose, it might be good to incorporate a prop or so, or 2. So we're going to start on our backs. So roll down on your back any way you choose. And we're going to come into a reclined mountain pose. So it's an active pose. Our toes are going to be pointed up to the sky, just as if we were standing on the floor. We're going to push our heels down toward the bottom of the mat. The calves are kind of resting on the mat. Our knees are soft and gentle. We don't want to lock our knees. Our navel is tucked to our spine, lowering our back toward the mat. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back, and really feel your shoulder blades getting nice and snug into the mat. Your spine and back of your neck are nice and long. If you tuck your chin a little bit toward your chest, you can make that back of your neck lengthen even more. And then the crown of your head is reaching toward the top of the mat. So please bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your stomach. And we're just going to breathe here for a few moments in recline mountain pose, not Shavasana, that's later. And when you inhale, you do a deep inhale, I suggest that you invite the pose, in this case, mountain pose, into your body. And then on the exhale, release your body into the pose. So inhale, invite mountain pose into your body. And then exhale, release your body into the pose. So that might mean that you're just checking on your feet, that your toes are pointed up to the sky, that your knees are nice and soft, that your hip bones resting on the mat, lowering your lower back toward the mat, that you can feel that nice snug connection between your shoulder blades and the mat. You feel the length of your spine, nice and long. And the crown of your head is reaching toward the top. So just continue inhaling, inviting that pose in, and then exhaling, releasing into that pose. Alrighty, you can release that pose. For our next pose, we're going to bring our right knee to our chest, interlace our fingers, and wrap it around our shin just below the knee. And we're going to flex our toes, both, we have 10 toes. Toes of both feet, we're going to flex them up toward the sky. And we're going to hold that for 2 minutes. And the affirmation is, like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. Like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. Continue on the inhale, inviting this pose into your body. And then on the deep exhale, release your body into that pose, into the stillness. And you can release that pose. Bring your leg back down, and we'll do the other side. Bringing your left leg knee to chest, interlacing your fingers around your shin, just below your knee, flexing both sets of toes up to the sky. Lower back is reaching toward the mat. And the affirmation again. Like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. Like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. And you can release that leg now. And bring both soles of your feet onto the mat, knees pointing up to the sky. And I have a correction from what I said earlier. I said the swan was cobra. It's actually, the swan is the other name for pigeon pose. So we're going to be in a reclined pigeon pose. It's a reclined swan pose. So we're going to place our right ankle just below our left knee on the left thigh. Toes of your right foot are flexed up toward the sky. And we're going to gently guide our knee to the right. So it's kind of creating a figure 4. And just find that sweet spot, that edge is what it's often called, but I like calling it the sweet spot, where you feel it, relaxation and effort are right on that line. And we'll start now. And the affirmation is, I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. And continue on your deep inhales and exhales. Lower back, reaching toward the mat. You can release that pose, bringing your foot back down to the mat gently and slowly. Then we'll do that on the other side. So we bring our left ankle to our right thigh, just below the knee. Left foot, your toes are flexed up toward the sky. And gently guide your knee to the left side of the mat till you find that sweet spot. The affirmation is, I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. And you can release your pose. Gently bringing your foot back down to the mat. We're going to come up into tabletop. So you can roll over to your favorite side, set your hand down, and gently and slowly lift up to a seated position, and then make your way to tabletop. Tabletop, our wrists are right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. What we're going to do is bring our knees out to the edges of the mat. And then we're going to kickstand both feet to the right. So you're pivoting on your knees, kicking both feet to the right. And then you're going to lower your sit bones to the mat. And you're going to come into deer pose. So your legs are kind of, knees are kind of in an M shape. I have my left foot resting on my right thigh. There's my right foot here. And then we're going to bring our forearms to the mat. And just going to relax your back. Feel a nice, comfortable spot for your back. Just kind of wiggle in so that you feel comfortable. And this is where a prop to support this pose might come in handy. You may want to use a blanket or something if you're sitting a little bit off your hip bones. You can support it with a blanket, or maybe even put the blanket under your arms so that you're not bending your back as much. Feel a nice, comfortable spot. And we're going to do 2 minutes per side on this. And the affirmation is, I am rooted and grounded, no matter the direction or force of the wind. I am rooted and grounded, no matter the direction or force of the wind. And you can come back up to a seated position. And then come back up to tabletop, keeping your knees on the edges of the mat. We're going to then swing our feet over to the left, and then come back to a seated position again. Go back to deer pose. Our knees are in that M shape. My left foot's resting on my right foot's resting on my left thigh. And then we'll bring our arms back down to the mat. And the affirmation is, I am rooted and grounded no matter the direction or force of the wind. I am rooted and grounded no matter the direction or force of the wind. Remember your deep inhales to invite the pose in, and your deep exhales to release your body into the pose. You can slowly and gently come back up to a seated position. And then slowly come back up to tabletop, but keeping your knees on the edges of the mat. Bring your big toes together underneath you, and then lower your hips to your ankles. We're coming into wide-legged child's pose. And if you want, you can rest your forehead on a blanket. We'll stretch our arms out in front of us. And we'll start that. This will be for 2 minutes. The affirmation is, I retreat inward for inspiration. I retreat inward for inspiration. And remember your deep inhales and your deep exhales. And you can slowly start to come back up. Walk your hands back up. Come back to tabletop. Then we're going to bring our right foot up so that our knee is stacked over our ankle and our hands are framing that foot. And then we're going to slide our left leg back. Again, slide it to that point, that sweet spot where it's effort and relaxation. You may want to use the towel or blanket under your knee. Just to cushion it. And this is typically a low lunge in the Yang style, but in Yin, it's called dragon. So the affirmation is, I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. And then we'll slowly come out of that. So moving your hips back, bringing your knee underneath back to tabletop. We'll do that on the other side. So I'm bringing our left foot forward, knees right over our ankle. Hands are framing the foot. I'm going to slide the right leg back, or in this case, because my knee is already on the blanket, I'm going to scooch my left foot forward so that I have that stretch in dragon pose. In the affirmation, I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. Remember your deep inhales, inviting the pose in, and deep exhales, releasing your body into the pose. you can release the pose, slowly walking your hands back and bringing your foot back, coming into tabletop. And then we're going to come down onto our stomach. So you can use your blanket here under your chest, if you like, under your rib cage. And we're going to slide down, coming onto our tummy. And this is going to give you an option here. You come into Sphinx pose with your elbows right below your shoulders, palms facing the mat, fingers nice and spread, and you're going to push down in your elbows and come out and open up your chest. So the other version is, as I goofed up earlier, I was calling the swan the cobra. Is seal. I got my water critters mixed up. So the seal, which is similar to the cobra, you can actually lift your elbows off the mat, have your hands forward, and have it be more of a cobra shape. But in Yin, it's called seal. So your option, either Sphinx or seal. We'll start. And the affirmation is, I start each day with a grateful heart. I start each day with a grateful heart. Deep inhale, guiding the pose in. Deep exhale, releasing the body into the pose. You can release the pose. We're going to roll over onto our backs. So whatever way is comfortable, I'm going to scooch over to one side of my mat and then just roll over. Come back to reclined mountain pose. We'll lift our hands up over our head. And we're going to take our right hand and wrap it around our left wrist. And with our shoulder blades still nice and snug in the mat, we're going to guide well, you can do it two ways. I'm going to guide my right arm over to the right, which will bring my left hand over to the side and make a slight curve. And then I'm going to bring my right leg to the right edge of the mat and bring my left leg either beside it or crossing over the ankle. It's banana pose. So in Yin poses, it's called banana asana. It's quite the mouthful. Banana asana. So with that, we're going to do that on both sides. So the affirmation is, I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. Gently release the pose and come back to reclined mountain. We'll do that on the other side. So with our arms outstretched above us, we're going to take our left hand, wrap it around our right wrist. And with our shoulder blades nice and snug in the mat, we're going to guide our left elbow over to the left, creating a curve up above, finding that sweet spot. And then bring your left foot to the edge of the mat and bring your right foot either alongside of it or crossing the ankles over for your banana asana. Banana asana. Affirmation is, I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. can release the pose, returning slowly and gently back to mountain pose. Bringing your arms alongside of you. Our next pose is we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and slide our feet up towards our pelvic floor, our tailbone. So in Yang Yoga, this is the cobbler's pose, but in Yin, it's called butterfly. So we're going to have the soles of our feet nicely pressed together. The knees are open to each side. You can support this pose with either a blanket or a block underneath the knees. The navel's tucked to the spine, kind of bringing the back lower to the ground. You can have your arms alongside you in goalposts, whatever is comfortable for you. And the affirmation is, I release resistance to change and embrace what this new season has in store for me. I release resistance to change and embrace what this new season has in store for me. You can release the pose. With your hands, you can guide your knees back together again. Bring your feet out to the edges of the mat, just resting your knees together. And then we're going to actually windshield wiper the knees over to the right side. Just enough so that you feel that your hip bones are relatively still on the mat. Maybe a block underneath your right knee to support it would be good. And another option you have is you can take your right foot, lift it up and place it on the side of your left knee. So it even has a little bit more of a twist. But the around your waist where your hips are, don't want to torque that too much. Just kind of have it be a gentle twist there. And the affirmation is, I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents. I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents. And release that hold slowly and gently, bringing your knees back together, resting together with your feet on the edge of the mat, outer edges of the mat. And then we'll do that on the other side. So we're going to lower our knees to the left. And if you like to have a block to support this pose and not torquing too much from the waist. You can lift your left foot and place it on the outer edge of your right knee. And the affirmation is, I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents. I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents. Deep inhales, deep exhales, releasing your body into the pose. You can release the pose, bringing your feet to the corners or edges of the mat, and resting your knees together. And our last pose will be Shavasana. So you can prepare for Shavasana by extending your legs, sending your Feet to the corners of the mat. Just snuggle in, sinking deeply into the mat. Arms come alongside and then out, palms facing up. And the affirmation is, I let nature teach me the art of letting go in order to make way for renewal. I let nature teach me the art of letting go in order to make way for renewal. And in closing, I have a poem for you by Dina Valms called Just for Now. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you and the infinite expanse of sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow a wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. Just for now, be boundless, free, awakened energy, tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are, so fully alive that when you open your eyes, the world looks different, newly born, and vibrant, just for now.